Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the PowerTalk Show, powered by Business Talks Weekly. Our guest today is a founder who is building a media intelligence platform. He pivoted from a B2C to a B2B market, and he is the founder of ReadPartner, Grigory. Grigory, welcome to the PowerTalk Show.
Hi, Navin. Nice to meet you. Thank you everyone for watching and for tuning in. And nice to meet everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gregory. I would like to start the conversation by understanding a bit about your background and what led to the creation of Read Partner.
So the background is a little mix of both technical and operations. What I did at a very young age, I did freelance website development, quite a lot of that for years, 6 years in total. I think I did that. And then I switched over to operations. Through family connections, I found myself a little job in mostly accounting, paper preparation, things like that. And they did that for 3 years. And I did learn a lot of accounting, as I said, and also a lot of things related to investment and business that really helped me with running ReadPartner right now. Also team building, a lot of very useful skills there. And then we came to the creation of ReadPartner. That was already the year of 2024. What happened there is a little bit of an interesting tangent. I come from a background, relatives aren't very proficient in English. And also, as everyone nowadays, short attention spans. I always wanted my relatives to be able to understand all the media coming out on the English speaking market and process that. Also, not spend too much time on that. So I was thinking about what if we could make a summarizer, a little summarizer tool for B2C clients. Then one evening, me and my wife were watching The Last Samurai, a movie about 18th century or 17th century Japan, I think. Then after the movie, I had this 2-hour session of researching all about that era of Japan. And I was like, it would be really cool if I could condense all of that into a shorter amount of information. Then the next day, I called up my lead developer and we started working on that. And then the first version of ReadPartner came out, which was a B2C summarization tool.
That's really wonderful, Gregory. And how are you curating and moderating the news that you are showing to your audience?
We try to get post pivot now when we do a lot more news curation and news processing for our clients. We try to deliver as much as possible because context matters. You need to be aware as a business. You need to be aware of everything that is out there. At the same time, we have certain caps where we don't show you media and news that we do not seem to be relevant, that we don't seem to, that doesn't have an impact yet on this world. So anything that we see is jump starting, that is starting to get just a little bit of attention, we deliver to the clients. That's an interesting one. That's a very difficult one. There's a problem that we're trying to tackle right now with the next update of ReadPartner and the upcoming updates. We are working hard right now on algorithms which detect user behavior, account behavior, especially on social media, which will somewhat reliably be able to tell users if this account maybe comes from an engagement farm, rage farm, bot farm, and then you can deduct that way. By combining all these things together, you can deduct that that information came from an ill-willed audience, trying to, instead of delivering you the truth, delivering you somewhat that gets your emotions.
That's very interesting. And Gregory, how does AI come into play here on both aspects? AI can be used to develop news, and in your case, you can also use AI to actually filter out maybe certain aspects or certain segments of news. Are you using some kind of a mechanism to currently build and update ReadPart?
Yes, we definitely are. A lot of other companies are using AI at every single step. What we do is we like to process and structure things first with manual algorithms or old algorithms, because at first that saves you a lot of tokens for the AI, and secondly, you deliver to the AI only the most filtered, reliable information, cut down information, so you don't confuse the AI as well. Because if you give it too much of that unnecessary water, it will also get confused. But at the end of the day, what we do is post-processing with AI, pre-processing everything that happens before that we do with our own algorithms.
Gregory, I want to talk a bit about adoption. Earlier, print media was Everybody was reading and using newspapers as their information source. Then came the television news channels, and now there are mobile apps. What kind of adoption are you seeing, and at which segment of which channel?
We are seeing an incredible adoption rate for social media channels that can never be, you can never overstate how quick that post COVID, how quickly people started turning to social media to receive their information. While it is very efficient, you can be very quick at receiving information through social media. We also see, especially in the recent months, there's been way more of that than before. We see, as I said, a lot of these engagement farms trying to get people's attention and emotional outbursts instead of delivering the truth. But as I said, social media is currently leading in adoption rates.
That's very interesting. And when you're talking about adoption, are you also tracking age groups, and at different ages, what kind of news a adult or a teen are consuming?
So depending on the region, we are careful with what information we take from users because it is all about consent and it's also about the regulatory framework per region. So the information that we do get, you will be surprised, but we see that in the recent months, older age group, more mature age group are turning more and more to social media, and some young adult age groups are starting to shift a little bit towards traditional media from time to time as well.
Yeah, makes sense. I want to talk a bit about yourself. What challenges did you face, building ReadPartner as a founder, as an entrepreneur?
I think the greatest challenge was the pivot, not deciding to pivot from a summarization from a B2C summarizer to a B2B media intelligence platform, but changing the mindset, my own mindset and the mindset of the team. Because in the B2C world, everything is super fast. You don't have as much time per client, or that you have a lot more clients. In the B2B world, you have less clients, you have larger clients who you need to pay a lot more attention to per client. And that little change in framework, in the operating framework, also requires you and the entire team to change the way you think about things as well.
Absolutely. And so what has been your biggest lesson so far?
There's two big lessons that I can talk about. Number one is I think there's a big differentiating factor between small businesses or startups who will struggle to scale and ones who will be able to scale quicker. That is the mindset of the leadership of how well you can delegate tasks. You can see this in large corporations as well, and in scaling companies and in small startups. You cannot scale if you, as the CEO, as the founder, as the leader, cannot trust your team to make decisions for you. I know it is very, very challenging to let other people change the child you're building the way they see fit, but you need to do that because you're only one person. And at the end of the day, you don't have the amount of power to make decisions, all the decisions in marketing, in design, in technology, in operations. You need to delegate. And the second most important thing I learned as well is in the B2B world, everyone always says that you need to pay attention to what your client want, talk to the clients, get feedback. That is very important in both the B2C and the B2B world, but people underestimate how important it is in the B2B world. Ever since we pivoted, the amount of time I spend talking with clients, with enterprise clients, with business clients has increased tenfold. I have meetings every single day. I listen. We record that. I talk to the team about what conclusions we came to with our clients. And the same goes for prospects, for potential clients. You need to be talking, you need to be delivering. And there's two people who emphasize this a lot. One is Paul Graham from Y Combinator, from YC. He had this thing, he says, do things that don't scale. And a lot of founders don't understand what this actually means. I think what it means is at very early stages of a company, also at the middle stages, somewhat at the larger stages, you need to be doing things manually. You need to go to your clients, you need to speak to your clients, you need to make them understand that what they want, you can deliver. And you need to stop thinking about yourself as a large company like AWS, like Amazon Web Services already. You're not there yet. You can't automate everything. You need to have this individual approach. And there's also this good quote I was watching an interview from Barack Obama. It was an older interview, and he was saying you need to show people that you can get stuff done. So you need to be somebody who says, let me take care of that, and don't be impatient. So when you talk to clients, even when you have, trust me, when you have talks with large multi-billion dollar corporations, when they see that you can get the stuff done, that you have a mindset that whatever they need, you will get that done, they will trust you. So that's the two most important lessons I got.
That's a very interesting point of view. Gregory, how would you describe your leadership style?
So, as I said, my leadership style shifted a lot. Before, I was very hands on. Every single little thing I wanted to approve. That can be good in very small teams. As soon as you start scaling, just a couple of people, and you get meetings from the side, it doesn't work. You lose sleep, you don't have any time for that, and your decisions start to get worse as well, and you need more time for the decisions. I can't say that I always trusted my team, but at one point, I decided that this trust that I have in them, I need to also allow them to make their own decisions. So now I split the team into multiple parts as it should be. You have marketing, you have SEO, you have tech and development, design, and you have leaders there who can make decisions. And at the end of the week and at the beginning of the week, I talk to the leaders and they tell me what decisions there are, what we're doing, and then I can give feedback. But I don't have to run around every single person in the team telling them what I want to see.
Absolutely. And that also brings ownership and accountability to certain extent, right? So, Gregory, what is your vision when it comes to ReadPartner for maybe for the next 3-5 years?
The vision is I don't want to be too loud about this, but I definitely do want to see some disruption in the media intelligence market because we have huge traditional players who have taken up a lot of space and are very slow to evolve now. When they do add AI, they add it as a little wrap on top just to tell their stakeholders that, hey, we've added AI. But it will be difficult for them to build something new from the ground up. This is where we come in. We can integrate these things, these new technologies from the very ground up, and we can be flexible. So in the next 5 years, I think we will deliver this little disruption in at least one part of the media intelligence market, delivering not only news to audiences, to our clients, but also, as I said, it is getting more and more important to analyze what's going on social media, detect fake traffic, detect rage baiting, rage engagement baiting, and show these things to clients and businesses. It's very important to do that. And we can also see a lot of business clients who come to us, they want to replace these large corporate software suites that they're using. They want to replace it with something more flexible. And this is why I'm saying the traditional players might lose a little bit of value in the future to something more flexible, like ReadPartner.
It's wonderful. One final question, Gregory, before we sum up, and I ask this to all my guests. What one piece of advice that you receive change your perspective professionally and personally?
I had a chat, I think about a year ago, with Ben Lang. He's now working at Cursor. He was one of the founding members at Notion. And he had this interesting point to make that if you find something that works, whether it's small, medium scale, or large, double down on that. Do not try to go everywhere at once. So this goes for both features, marketing, everywhere. If you find 1-2 things in marketing that work, double down on that and cut costs everywhere else. You don't need to try everything out. Same with development. If you find 1-2 features that your users really love, that's what we did with the media intelligence. Double down on that, cut everything else, because these users that love that will at the end be your most loyal users, the most proactive users who deliver you value and feedback as well. So focus on something.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Thank you so much, Gregory. Thank you so much for sharing that insightful conversation with us. It was delightful to have you on our channel, on our podcast. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thank you very much, Navin. Thank you very much to the audience, and hope to talk to you again. Bye bye.